Oh, hi, Janelle. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Yeah, we're starting off with a pocket affirmation to get the energy going and flowing in this week. I'm going to be offering journaling prompts as we go through, but I have these messages for you that are meant for you because you're here, because you found my channel and you're clicking on it. Maybe you're returning to my channel, but you just so happen to come here, or you're watching this later on the recording, because that's how our spiritual team works. They're highly efficient. So thank you. Hi, Jen Carter. Thanks for being here. Okay, so let's dive into this overall energy, and feel free to put any questions in the comments. I'll try to check in with your comments as we go, because I'm also hoping to encourage those of you who are wanting to get started with your journaling. I'm hoping to encourage you to use these prompts to work with these messages. One of the big questions I will get when I'm sharing messages is, what do I do with those messages? Okay, I heard it loud and clear. I feel like that message was for me. Now, what do I do with it? Well, that's why I'm going to encourage you to grab your journal. It can be any journal. I have my custom journal that I sell on Amazon, but you can use any journal you want to sit and connect and try to interpret these messages. And I really encourage you to write them down, because hindsight is a really powerful tool for understanding how you receive your messages. And so if you write down the messages you're getting, even if you don't understand them, you can come back a day or two later, even a week later, and reread those messages. And you might have that aha moment connecting the dots. Oh, this is what I was being told. These were the messages I was being sent. So let's dive into this a little more. Hi, Andrea. I'm glad you got to tune in. I'm grateful that I didn't lose your attention when I messed up my mic again. I'm just getting used to doing these lives. So Casglow says, I've been writing things on sticky notes at work and bringing them home to journal. Oh, I love that. That is such a great idea. Yes. It's funny. What's your question here? Everyone spell check been a funny sign. Yes, I have had spell check be funny signs. That's a really good point. I love that one. I've never even thought to share that, but I have had it like randomly change something I was going to say. And then it's like, oh, okay, so let's go into these messages. I do want to just remind you, in case you are new here, that because this is a group message, if something doesn't resonate with you, simply leave it behind. But I do set the intention when I say a prayer protection before I connect, to make sure these messages are in your highest interest to hear at the time you're hearing them. And so again, if something doesn't resonate, it's not meant for you. It's meant for somebody else, or you're just not meant to understand it at this point in time. So you can always come back at a later date to connect. And like I said, please write down anything that does stick out to you, even if you don't know what it means at the time. So right now, as the time you're hearing these messages, they want you to, your spiritual team, and I am changing that with the way I'm working today. Like you'll see, I have on Thursdays, I have messages from your angels. This is going to be anyone on your spiritual team. So this could be a passed away loved one. This could be an ascended master. This could be a guardian angel, or anybody that you're working with. And if you are new to my channel, maybe you don't know about the way I work. I work with Jesus quite closely, and some people say Yeshua. So that might also be somebody who's coming through for you, because I work so closely with his energy that you might actually be getting messages in that way too. So just see what resonates for you. But the first thing that's coming through from your spiritual team is to know that you have an intimate relationship in your life that is about to go to a deeper, better level, as long as you are focusing on bringing good health to that. That's going to be what's key here, is that you are bringing good health to these relationships and allowing them to shine, to really be important to you. So I'm going to give you more guidance on that, but maybe just think, what was the first relationship you thought of when you heard me say an intimate relationship? This could be a child, this could be a pet, this could be a parent, this could be, of course, a romantic partner. It could be a really close, longtime friend. So who's the first person that came to mind for you? Now, don't close off to the idea that it might be from someone else, but like I said, it could be a passed away loved one that you're very close with, who's trying to share messages with you. So only you can know that. And one of the reasons I want to do these lives like this is to be able to answer your questions, and also remind you that you are developing your own language with your spiritual team. So when I see 444, it might mean one thing to me, and it might mean something totally different to you. One of the examples I share on the show that's airing tonight on Leading Out Loud, which, by the way, quick reminder, if you do want to watch Leading Out Loud tonight, as it airs, it is on our channel, Leading Out Loud on YouTube. You can go to leadingoutloud.com. It airs at 9 Eastern. We pre-recorded some frequently asked questions from you guys in the audience. And it was a really fun show because we wanted a night off. We're going to try to take the last Mondays of the month off and pre-record. So it's going to be streaming over there. We went into some really great topics. If you're not familiar with that show, Leading Out Loud, thank you, April. Hey, April, thanks for being there. She's got it in the chat there. My good friends, Chris Reck from Minnow Pond Tarot, Scott Cruz, Psychic Medium, and Christopher Witecki at SeriousJoy.com, which you, at Serious Joy TV is his YouTube channel. A lot of you know me through him. We have this show, Leading Out Loud. It's also called LOL. And we air every Monday night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. And we talk about all kinds of amazing spiritual topics that you're just not seeing out there. It's kind of a fun, lighthearted talk show. And tonight's episode is going to be your frequently asked questions. And what was so neat about doing that is we got a chance to talk about how we all met as a team. And it kind of led into some other discussions that we weren't planning to. So I'm actually looking forward to rewatching it because I was, when we were recording live, you don't even remember how you just end up in these different conversations. So I will be watching it live there tonight in the comments. I would invite you to join me there as well. But I was saying that one of the things that came up during that show is the number 33 actually represents Jesus or Yeshua to me personally, but it might mean something totally different to you. I know for me, because over time, tracking that number and what it means and understanding the way Jesus works with me, that's the energy that I will receive when I'm getting a message from Jesus or when Jesus is trying to connect with me on a deeper level. So I wanted to share that with you because as we go deeper into these messages, you may hear something and it's very specific for you. So be paying attention to those things as well. Okay, thank you. So let's keep going into these messages here. As I said, who was the first person that came to mind when you said an intimate relationship is growing deeper and we want to make sure we're adding more health to that? Again, this could be that deep, that intimate relationship with a passed away loved one. Maybe it is an intimate relationship with an ascended master that you're looking to work more with. Just a quick side note on that too. I've actually been asked to work more closely with Mary Magdalene's energy over the last several months. And that I do feel is growing for me. So that's the first relationship that comes to mind for me. And so I'm going to be thinking about that as well as we go through these. So one of the things they say has been a challenge for you though, is to take this relationship closer. Maybe there's a need to bring in some forgiveness. Okay. So think of who that could be for you. Maybe you need to forgive yourself for something, or maybe there were some words said in a harsh way, or maybe you're feeling challenged to trust this other person or to offer forgiveness. So that's one of the things they're focusing right now, is that is really what's preventing this relationship from getting closer. Is there's some kind of conflict that you need to find a positive resolution to. Maybe this is a passed away loved one where you didn't feel like you got to say the things you wanted to say. Well, you still have that opportunity right now. You can do that through journaling. You can do that through simply talking, through meditation. You can ask your angels to pass the message on. That's one of the ways that I first started talking to people across the veil, is I had the angels do it for me, because initially I had some experiences when I was younger that kind of scared me, and I didn't like the mediumship experiences I was having because I hadn't been trained how to properly protect my energy, which is a whole nother topic. But let me know if you would like me to do some videos on protecting your energy, because it is very important that you are intentional about who you connect with. And when I first was, my mediumship skills were first really escalating to new levels. Things were happening a lot that were startling me, and I would shut them down. And finally, I was told that I needed to learn how to shield my energy so that I could connect across the veil, but in a safe way. And I was told, do it through the angels. So that's why I'm sharing that with you, is if you get a little bit of a fear come up to you about the idea of mediumship, then I encourage you to let the angels be your messengers there, and always set that intention to connect with the highest vibrational energies. And I do ask God for that protection there. And the other thing I want to say about that is to remember, you will not feel fear if you are connecting with the angels. The angels speak to you in a subtle, gentle, loving way. Angels will not tell you what to do. So if you are feeling any fear or doubt or anxiety over a message you're getting, it's probably not meant for you, or it's something that you do need to take a look at, but from a different perspective. So the angels might give you a heads up on something, like, heads up, you need to go check your credit card statement, go look at it. There's something out of balance. But they're not going to do it in a way that makes you scared. They're going to do it in like, hey, you know what? You haven't checked it in a while and there's a subscription on there you're not even using. It's time to cancel it. So those are the kind of things that I'll get messages for, where it's a heads up and it's like, it's something I already knew I probably should have been paying attention to, and they're just reminding you, but there will not be fear. So hopefully that's helpful. Yes, if you are still tuning in, thank you for being here. And please let me know where you're tuning in from if you'd like to. So let's move on with these messages about this intimate relationship that we need to bring better health to, we need to offer forgiveness to. And let's talk about where you might subconsciously get some answers. And one of the ways that you can do this is looking for a way to bring in positive, creative solutions to the relationship. So, one of the examples they're showing me is you don't feel like you get enough time with your kids. What is a more creative way that you could spend time with your kids? Could you offer to drive them to and from certain things and ask them to have a fun conversation with you about something? Maybe um, you know have a prompt like, hey, let's talk about where are your dream vacations. Do things like that are creative, where even if it's only a 5-minute drive over to soccer practice or whatever, you're creating an intimacy there because you're intentionally connecting on that level, instead of just having the radio on, or a lot of times kids are on their devices in the back seat or whatever that is for you. So get creative with how you can bring better health to these relationships. If this is a romantic relationship, is there a way you can add more playtime? Like maybe sit down and play a board game together, or do a puzzle together. I always have a puzzle going in my living room. I love sitting and doing that. Sometimes I need my hands to be busy when we're hanging out in the living room watching TV. So that's one of the things I'll do, is I'll do a puzzle. But how could you bring more fun into your relationship as well, that might help you get more inspiration about how you can be creative together? So let's talk a little bit more about what's been going on recently for you, because the angels really want to commend you for focusing on your family life, focusing on finding luxury in the little things, and finding a way to enjoy time with your family and loved ones where it's not costing you too much money. I have a fun experience to share with you that I tried for the first time ever. This last Friday, I tried pickleball, which I know it's been around for a while. Some of you may be going, why'd you wait this long? Because I grew up playing tennis, and I was always like, well, I don't know if I'm going to have time to do something like that. I think I'd go back to tennis. Well, I was wrong. It was so much fun. And I ended up taking a pickleball 101 class with a good friend of mine this past weekend. And it made me realize how much I miss that kind of playtime with my exercise routine. If you caught my live last week, I believe it was the Wednesday one, I was sharing with you that I knew what the message meant for me when they were talking about bringing more fun into my daily life. I knew they were talking about my workout routine, that I was getting a little bored with my workout routine, specifically my weight routine. I love my walks. I don't get bored on my walks because I get to be out in nature and get signs, but my weight routine where I'll, lift weights, I do get bored with that. And they were saying, let's find another way to do some muscle toning that is more fun for you. And let me tell you, I am sore in so many different muscles that I haven't used in a long time after playing pickleball. I wouldn't have thought it. So that was really, really fun. And I want to give a shout out to my friend Chris Reck at Minnow Pond Tarot, because his messages for the Cancer sun signs for last week were specifically shouting at me to try this pickleball. And I am so glad I listened. So thanks again, Chris, for that shout out there. Okay, Casglows tried it before. You started playing about a month ago and now you love it. Yes, right? I know. I had a friend of mine say, trust me, you get addicted. And I was like, I don't know if I mean, it takes me a long time to fall in love with those kinds of things. Nope. They were right. I loved it right away. I want to get my husband doing it with us. I want to get our kids involved. So that was what was coming to mind for me, is just fun ways to exercise together, but also make it playful. And boy, like I said, it was a workout in different muscles that I don't normally use. So I encourage you to try it out. If you have a local pickleball court, you can try. Now, let's talk about what's going on for you right now. There's something that's happening right now at the time you hear these messages that you need to take a different perspective about. Okay. So, this is not necessarily your relationships, this is your approach to something that is going on in your daily schedule. So, do you have a day planned out that is feeling a little overburdened? Or do you not have a plan and you know you've been procrastinating on doing something and you could add a little structure, work hard, play hard, and allow some more things to get done? I know for me personally, I have a lot of things stacked on my calendar over the next few days. And I do want to make sure I'm allowing some downtime in between that so I don't get burned out. So that's one of the things I'm going to be doing is looking to see, like, in my schedule, where can I spend a little more time doing something I enjoy in between these back to back things. I've also got some new approaches I want to take with my office setup. The way I've got my office set up, so it's easier, it flows more. So I'm still working on that. I'll give you updates as I go. But what was the first thing that came to mind for you about today and this week in general, where maybe you could rearrange things, reschedule things, ask for some help? This is where I will remind you that if you don't know what to write in your journal, but you're wanting to practice journaling, write your to-do list and ask your spiritual team to help you get it done. I cannot tell you how many times I have done that, and somebody will show up and offer to do something for me, or I will just fall, it will not need to be done anymore, or somebody will just cancel something, that some appointment, and now I have an extra hour to do something, and I get caught up, I get ahead on things. So um, you'll know what that is for you, but look at your overall week. um, Okay, Janelle saying both, mostly procrastination, do better work under pressure, but gives me anxiety. Yes, I know. So I hear you on that. The anxiety portion, sometimes it pushes you, but then it's stressful. And that is something they want us to watch out for over this week. Oh, need to schedule time for journaling and being out in nature. Yes, please do that. Please do that. Even if it's just 5 minutes of journaling. If you caught my live last Wednesday, I said a lot of times the only thing that goes in my journal, if I'm really busy, is thank you, God, for today. Good morning, angels and guides. And that's all that goes next to the date. But I have put pen to paper. I have brought my spiritual team into my physical reality in that way. And for those of you who prefer to journal digitally, that's fine. You absolutely can do that. Whatever works best for you, whatever will get you doing that. But the other thing I would like to encourage you to do is to reflect on your day, and like later today when you're getting ready to go to bed, reflect on your day and the messages that stand out from you from this video. What do you think? What have you learned from that point in time? So that's going to be a journaling prompt I'm going to offer for you this evening or tomorrow morning works, where you ask yourself, what angel messages or spiritual team messages from yesterday or earlier this morning really stood out for me, and what are they telling me, especially about our week routine? More love says, this past week I learned I need to stop scheduling and add more time for flow, self-care, so I have a loose plan but not so structured and yeah, enforceful as you used to be. I love that. I love that. I have to do that too with myself because I'm a Capricorn rising. So I really like structure. But that can be where the anxiety can come in too, because I'm putting too much pressure on myself to get too many things done. In fact, with the busy schedule I have planned this week, my mantra has been, from the moment I woke up this morning, one thing at a time. So, if you were here when I first went live, I had no sound and I had to go off the air and come back on, and it changed the link. So I'm hoping people can still find it. I had shared a link that's no longer there. And I was feeling the frustration and the anxiousness build. And then I thought, one thing at a time. Well, one thing at a time. I can't do this without sound. So we got to go figure out why the settings changed. So thankfully, we got that fixed. And then, so take a different perspective on your schedule. If you feel like you've got too much going on, what could you push off to another week or ask for help with? If you feel like you're procrastinating on something, can you get help? Can you get information? Sometimes we procrastinate because we don't have enough information. We know there's something we need to do, but there's more research that needs to be done. Maybe we need to get some advice. And we're just not clear. And I find that that's usually what happens for me is if I can't make a decision, it's because I don't have enough information. So hop on YouTube, do some research, ask a friend, get some advice. Now, one of the things that's coming up for you very soon too is you're going to be asked to speak your mind with confidence about something. So you're going to be getting some kind of invitation to have a conversation, to write something, to stand up for yourself. There's going to be something coming through the door. I am seeing that for a lot of us, it will be for an intimate relationship where we want to be really confident in the way we respond. Now, that doesn't mean being hard headed, not being open minded, not being compassionate or compromising, but it does mean being confident. And whenever the angels are asking us to compromise, they are not saying to settle. We don't want to give up on what our heart wants. We don't want to settle for something that makes us feel less than, but compromise is different, being flexible. So yeah, checking in with the comments here. Hi Don, thanks for being here. Yes, I am in divine flow. We started off this video with that pocket affirmation, I am in divine flow, to get the week started. It's one of my all-time favorite ones. And Andrea says staying flexible and knowing. And yeah, 1010. Oh, Janelle says 1010 reminds me of him, and she typed 1010. Oh, very cool. 1010, yeah, 1010 for me represents manifestation. And a lot of that is because I do work with the team at seriousjoy.com with the Serious Joy Step System, and 10 is the I manifest state of awareness. But also you have that one and that zero there. So when you put those together, you are creating something that is here in this reality, this material earth reality. So I personally believe, yes, it reminds me of God, but also God reminding me that we came here to manifest our heart's desires. So I love comparing notes. Thank you for sharing that with me. You're a manifester, Janelle. Oh, cool. I'm a manifester too. I'm an emotional manifester. So yeah, if you're familiar with human design, I find that is another really fun tool to bring in to my divine flow and working. So since you brought that up, Janelle, I would like to say that the manifestor state of when they're in their power, it's when you're in peace, right? Not anger, but peace. And so that's why I had to remind myself at the beginning of the day with this big to-do list, one thing at a time, because that's a peaceful approach instead of feeling like I have to get it all done. All right. So coming up, so like I said, the angels or your spiritual team, they want you to be prepared to speak your mind with confidence in a loving, compassionate way, and that you will get a lot of personal power by focusing on the positive. So like I said about these relationships that we're being asked to bring better health to, or these situations where we are procrastinating, we want to focus on the positive and trust that things will happen in divine flow if we allow them. So, in fact, they're giving me a key word for the energy of what we are discussing right now. So, that could be anytime you come across this video. But for those of you here now, the word is allow. That's your key word for today and really for this whole Virgo season is allow. Allow things to happen one step at a time and unfold the way they are meant to. If you are procrastinating or putting off something, allow yourself the time to go get some research or get that advice. And that's where the scheduling comes in, blocking out time for journaling. I love that Casglow was saying earlier about blocking out time for journaling and getting out in nature. That's when I will have that opportunity to do some automatic writing or just ask for loud and clear signs. And that's another reminder there too, is you do want to remember to ask for the help. A lot of times we get caught in worry and we forget to ask for the help. So trusting that your spiritual team has your back is really helpful too. So let's do another pocket affirmation then. I easily allow divine guidance. I easily allow divine guidance. Let's do that pocket affirmation in the comments below this video, because that will allow you to step into allowing things to go one step at a time. Oh, I'm so glad you journal every day, Janelle. That's amazing. Yes, I try to as well. I also track different energies that are going on for me, and I track my to-do list in my journal and ask for help. Of course, I have my electronic calendar and my other things as well, but I really find that things do happen the way they're meant to happen if I am journaling about it and asking for the help. So the next thing that the your spiritual team, I'm used to saying the angels, but I really am wanting you to broaden your mind about that, where you feel these messages are coming for, and notice what comes up for you. It could be your guardian angel or an archangel connecting with you, but I want you to recognize who's on your team, because we all have spirit guides, we all have animal spirits that are working with us. So you open up to that in the way that makes you feel comfortable, because one of the things that um, you are seeing with people around you is you're seeing people around you have a desire to move on from something. They're wanting to do something more meaningful with their life. So have you had a lot of colleagues leaving lately where you work, and maybe you were good friends with somebody and they're stepping away? Even that, those intimate relationships, do you see a spouse or a child wanting to do something different with their life? You're seeing this because we're all feeling this energy to do something that brings in that spiritual abundance in a bigger way and allows us to grow spiritually more. And so everybody on the planet's soul is seeking this deeper spiritual connection. Some are in denial, but others are waking up to it and realizing, you know what? I do want more meaning in the work I do. I do want more meaning in the way I spend my time. I do want to trust that my spiritual purpose is the best path, not necessarily the path that I was told was my path. So the example would be for me, where I got my degree in accounting because that's what was told was I was good at, and this is the best degree to get, and these are the things. And I spent 15, 16 years doing small business consulting, and I did get fulfillment out of some of those things, but it really wasn't what my heart wanted to do, and I had to step away from it. But I did use the skills I learned there to move forward. So I took that perspective of there was no wasted time, that was all designed to help me get on my path in that way. Okay, let me just pull up the chat real quickly and see if anybody. I easily allow divine guidance is the pocket affirmation we'll be using. Thank you, everybody, for putting that in there. April saying I need some nature time this week. Big time, big time. Yeah, I agree. I love being out in nature, and I'm wanting to plan more of that too. We have had triple digit heat here in Texas, so I usually have to go pretty early in the morning. And one of the luxuries of when school wasn't in session was I could go at like 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. for a leisurely walk. But now the kids, all their sport activities have started up. We were on the road at 5:55 a.m. this morning, headed to practice. So it's busy now. I'm missing those early morning walks, but they'll come back, and things are going to cool off. So I'm going to find time for that too. But thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So back to these messages about those around you, people you see leaving situations, leaving groups. I know people who are seeing, like, even in their spiritual organizations, ministers are stepping down, or longtime church members are moving. And this is all that desire to find more spiritual meaning and move on. So trust that these things are happening for a reason. It might bring up a little sadness because you might be feeling like, wow, that was my favorite coworker to sit and chat with about work and have a cup of coffee with, and now they're leaving. But trust that something better is coming in, not better than that relationship, but something better is coming in for that person and for you. And we're just trusting that it's working out the way it's meant to. Oh, April saying 5:55 a.m. The universe was with you. Oh yeah. Yeah, I was intentional about that time too, because I know it's bringing in big changes to our daily schedule. Speaking of changes, that's one of the things that 55 or 5:55 will represent to me, is change. So a lot of times when I see 7:55 or 4:55 or obviously 5:55, I will stop and go, okay, what do I feel is changing? And sometimes I'll apply that other number too. So 4:55 in the serious choice subsystem, 4 is the I belong state of awareness. So you could say, I belong changing the way I do my daily routine, right? Or 7:55 is the I sense state of awareness in the serious choice subsystem. So I sense changes are coming for me, or I need to change the way I use my intuition and my senses, because that's the other thing we do is we grow with the way we use our intuitive abilities. So you might always do things you might always use sense of feeling, like I got a feeling this is going to happen and I'm having this feeling in my tummy. But maybe it's time to start using visualizations and start seeing what you want in the future. And that thing about the personal power, focusing on the positive, visualizations are huge for that. In fact, that's something I do want to do with you on one of these lives, is work on some visualizations. Maybe we'll save that for Wednesday, because it is getting late and I do have to uh, go to another appointment here in a little bit, but we're not done with the messages. I think that's something I'd like to work on with all of you and see. I kind of even show you how I do my visualizations, because that's another way. If you're waking up in the middle of the night worrying about something, visualizations can be really powerful there. And we want to have kind of um, a group of images in our mind that we go to. So you've heard, like, what's your happy place, right? For obviously for me, one of mine is the beach. So when I hear go to your happy place, I immediately picture my feet in the ocean, with the surf washing over my toenails, and I feel the sand under my feet, and I feel the freedom of being by the ocean. Though that's what I would say. But I have multiple places and multiple things I use as visualizations, and I encourage you to write those down and keep them all in one place in your journal. So I'll probably do that in a future live. I'll show you what one of my vision boards looks like. I do change them, I do update them. So I'll go find one to share with you. But yeah, I'm just checking in with the comments here. Yes, has it been really hot? Oh my goodness. You're in Dallas? Oh wow, yeah. So you're dealing with this heat too, Casglow. Um, Scorpios know all about change, Janelle. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You guys, but you're so tough. You're so tough with the way you handle it, and we learn from you, Scorpios. I love my Scorpios. Um, so yeah, okay. Visualization for grounding. Yes, yeah, that can be really helpful too. All right. Well, let's continue with these messages here. The main thing that the your spiritual team is wanting you to think about is, where can you feel unified with others? Where do you need to move your focus? Where you're moving away from things that do not allow you to feel confident, and you're moving towards the things that allow you to feel confident. So the journaling prompt here is, what spiritual gift could I use more often? What spiritual gift could I use more often? Write that journaling prompt in your journal. You don't have to know the answer to it. I would then encourage you to ask your spiritual team for a loud and clear sign. And sometimes that means we do need to do some more studying. Maybe you do need to go study numerology or astrology or human design, and through studying and learning about yourself, you unveil the things you are good at. One of the things that's so funny for me is, I was telling the story about how I graduated with my accounting degree and my business administration degree. I did small business consulting for about 16 years. And my very first ever astrology reading, I'd never gotten one before. I'd never really had an interest in it. The astrologer told me that I was meant to work with numbers. And I was like, work with numbers? I've always worked with the angels. I've always worked with animals. Like my whole life, I got symbols through the angels and through animals. And just through just my dreams as well. Another one was big ones, my dreams. And he said, numbers. I thought, numbers. Well, it piqued my curiosity, because I thought, well, I always liked math, and I went into accounting numbers, and I found that I would easily remember numbers. So if I was trying to figure out where there was a bookkeeping error, I would see a number and it would stick out in my mind, like almost like my angels were showing me, here's where the error is. And I remember it, and I'd go back and find it. So I thought, okay, there is something to numbers. So I started studying numerology. Well, I was absolutely fascinated by numerology, because I used hindsight, that gift of hindsight, to go back and look at periods of my life where I was in a certain year, for example. So like this year, I'm in a net 5 year. And I went back and looked at the last, 4 or 5 times I've been in a net 5 year. And so many of the things that resonated and were similar, now different circumstances, different people, different environments, but it blew my mind how accurate it was. And it opened my mind to learning more about astrology, which, as many of you know, I work with an astrology service now, SeriousJoy.com. I would have never in my mind thought that I would be working with astrologers, become an astrologer myself. one day because of working with the angels and because of numerology. So it's one thing at a time. So that journaling prompt that I gave you, what spiritual gift can I use more often? You may not even realize you have a gift with something unless you take that time for self discovery, for journaling, for focusing on what your heart wants, and allow yourself to move away from situations where you don't feel confident. Maybe you do have a gift for doing angel messages, doing angel readings, but you don't have the confidence yet because you need to go get some more information, take some classes, read some books, start practicing. So that could, I feel like somebody needed to hear that message. Maybe what you're procrastinating on is using your gift because you don't have the confidence. And that's why they said earlier in these messages, they really want you to have confidence, speak your mind with confidence. So this could be saying, I am an angel communicator, really saying it and meaning it with confidence. That is one of the things that I had to work through was when I was a small business consultant and I decided to go into a spiritual career. That was a big change for the people around me, for me to come out and say, I talk to the angels, I talk to animals, I have an ability to help you receive divine guidance, those kinds of things. And that I had to learn to do that with confidence. And it starts with having confidence within. So I know somebody out there needed to hear that you know what gift you have, but we need to start practicing. We need to practice, practice, practice so that we can build that confidence so we can speak our mind with confidence. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been here in the chat. I really, really appreciate it. I see I have a question here from More Love. You said you are in a net 5 year. How do you figure that out? That's through numerology. And I'm not a super expert on it the way I used to be. I'd have to grab my book, but I can tell you this much. It's by netting your birthday. So, but you use the birth year. So, for example, for me, I'm July 17th. So I would do 7 plus 17 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4. And then I net that. So I'm actually a 32 net 5. So, but I encourage you to look it up. More Love, it is so fascinating to study your numerology. And I actually do have some books on my website at devonduerr.com. If you want to go check out, there's a numerology book on there that I recommend people start with if you're brand new to it, because it really lines it out easily. But there's also a lot of websites out there where you can go get a quick free reading and find out what year you're in, but it won't mean a lot to you unless you have a reference guide. So that's why I would encourage you to check out getting a book that you can go start studying about it. But that's where you can also learn a lot about your spiritual gifts and your spiritual purpose. That's how I started figuring it out. And a lot of times we're using our spiritual gifts and we don't even realize it. We're just doing it in such a mundane way. But then once you identify the gift, you realize, oh, I could take this to a much bigger level than I'm currently using it right now. So that's another message I'm getting for all of you listening here now and later. There is something you could take to the next level. You are better than you're giving yourself credit for with this gift. So, yours added to a 31, Janelle. Okay, so that's a net 4. So that means your 3 plus 1 is a 4. So you're a net 4. And so you want to go look up the meaning of what it is to be in a year 4. There's a lot of certain things that happen usually around belongingness. Like, do you feel like you belong in the job you're in? Do you feel like you belong in the home you're in? Do you feel like you belong in the relationship or the group of people you're in? A lot of times questions about belonging will come up for you, or it'll show you places you belong that you never would have thought of. Like, I didn't know I belonged using this gift, and now I know. And so you start using that gift. So I really encourage you to check that out. Oh, you're so welcome, More Love. Yeah, check that out. And then it'll change, of course. In 2025, we'll get a new year that we're moving into. So I'll be moving into a net 6 year. And a lot of times, 5 is, it goes from 1 to 9, and then you start all over again. So 5 is right in the middle. So this whole year of 2024 for me is a big year of change and transitioning. And sometimes it's all within. Sometimes all the change is coming within. So on the outside, my family and friends are like, I don't see Devon changing. But I know on the inside, what's changing is where I want to take my work, where I want to go on vacation. Instead of I always go here, now I want to start going there. Where do I want to spend my time? Like we shared at the beginning of this video, I used to think, well, I wouldn't play pickleball. If I had time to play pickleball, I'd play tennis again. And then I went and tried pickleball and I'm like, nope, I'm definitely gonna be playing more pickleball. It's so fun. So now I sound like I'm advertising for pickleball, right? But it's a new fun thing. And plus I made so many friends like right off the bat. Everyone's so friendly. Although I have heard that people get very competitive with it. So I'll stay away from that. I want to have fun, at least for now. So yes, you're so welcome, Casco. You're so welcome. And thank you all so much for being here. Remember to check out Leading Out Loud tonight. I will be going live tomorrow with Justin Speller, my good friend Justin Speller. We will be talking about the new moon energy. We're going to try to hit live sometime around 12:30 Central, so 1:30 Eastern. 10:30 Pacific. We're going to try to hit live and we're going to talk about the new moon energy. I'll share some angel messages about the new moon. Justin always shares some amazing energy healing techniques and other techniques for using your divine gifts. So it's so much fun. He's a longtime good friend of mine. I met him through tapping. We were both trained in emotional freedom technique tapping. I met him that way, and then we just became good friends. So we do these videos together on and off. Usually we do the full moon, but our schedules didn't work out to do this past full moon. So we're doing the new moon that's coming up this September, and we will be talking about that tomorrow right here on my channel. I believe we are going to try to stream to his channel too. And then so hopefully you'll join us there. And then Wednesday morning will be my more casual live where I'm going to go live in my workout clothes. That's one of the things I'm challenging myself to do, is do things in a more informal way. So if you don't already follow me here on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And like and share this video if it resonated with you. Check us out on LOL tonight. I have more videos coming up this week. Thank you so much for being here. And remember, take time every day to connect with the angels. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here.